Welcome to module number 3. Now, this module is going to be shorter than other modules, but it's also important for you to know how to sell your first website in terms of packaging, pitching, closing, and pretty much, having the contracts in place and also going through some of the AI compliances that you need to know, okay? So these are very important things that you should know about, and that's why in this module you will learn more about that and how we go about pricing, because I know most people are really lost when it comes to pricing, okay? So let's get first to structure packages and pricing. So how are you structuring the packages and pricing? So fixed packages, recurring revenue models, add-ons that basically maximize your MRR. So obviously, why fixed packages beat hourly billing? It's quite, it's a common sense, but again, it's something that is very powerful. So usually when you charge hourly, your income is unpredictable. Your client haggles over every hour logged pretty much. So they're tracking every hour that you're working, which, in most cases, this happens when you're doing basic website design that has no impact on their business. So they're tracking pretty much everything, okay? So you stop earning the moment you stop working, which is very bad, okay? Your scope creep kills your margin pretty much. It's hard to scale because you only have so many hours in a day where you're working on a website, right? It's very hard to scale. And there's no recurring value. So client churns after each project, which is, again, very bad, okay? So when it comes to MRR and fixed packages, you have predictable MRR. Again, this type of business that I'm teaching you right here is a predictable monthly recurring revenue business. It's kind of like a subscription model in a sense. They're paying monthly for a website, but it's not just any kind of website, right? At the end of the day, it's a website that is making them money. So client knows the price upfront, there's no friction, and Go High Level runs 24/7 even when you're asleep. You have clear scope, protected margins. Obviously, there will always be some people that want to change a couple of things on the website, like design and stuff like that. You let them do that, but then, don't let them walk over you. So that's very important. Again, you can onboard 10 clients with the same 2-hour setup, and this is what's so cool about it. With Go High Level, you have one system, and you're literally following that one system all the time, which is really good. So platform becomes their daily tool, which is a sticky MRR. This is what Go High Level is. It's a sticky software, meaning that a lot of people, when they start using it, it feels complicated and everything, but then once they get a hang of it, they pretty much stay forever within that software, which is very good and very cool. Okay, so here are top 3, or not top 3, but your 3-tier package model. Now, keep in mind, these models right here can change. I will show you as well what you can do when, you don't have, like, let's say you're on a call and you don't have really leverage. Maybe it's your first client and, the client is asking for a refund, or not a refund, a discount, right? In that case, you can go and say, how quality your service is, what they're getting and stuff like that. You can handle the objection. But if it's really hard to close and stuff like that, then what I would do is I would charge one time, and then that price would be over month to month. So for example, I would charge $297 one time, and then I would also charge that monthly, okay? So you're basically selling a system, so you want to make sure that your client has access to your system, but they don't have a full access, which I'm about to show you that later on. But let's break down the pricing. So we have a starter plan, which is going to be $1,000 per month and $1,000 setup, and $97 per month. So this is going to include 3-page website, on-page SEO optimization, lead capture form and chat widget, mobile-friendly website design, mobile app management, and 1 website edit per month. If they need some website edits, you're here to kind of assist them. So the setup fee is here always to secure the deal, right? So you get the setup fee, and then you pretty much you build a website. And with our snapshot that you're getting, if you sign up with our 30-day free trial, you're not only getting a snapshot, you're also getting a template. So pretty much out of that $1,000 setup, Most of the money you will keep, which is really cool. So again, that's something that, you know, you don't have to worry about, because you have a snapshot, and that snapshot or our snapshot gives you opportunity to go out there, you know, redesign a website a little bit, which will take some of your time or your VA's time. I will also show you how to hire VAs, but that's essentially it, right? Then you have a growth plan, which is $2,000 setup, and then $297 a month. So in this case, you basically scale with advanced SEO automation. So this is like a starter plan, but on steroids. So you get 5-page website, everything in starter, plus, so everything from here, plus appointment booking system, payment processing, automated Google reviews, and 3 website edits per month. So this usually is the most popular plan, because everyone will buy this plan, just because you also have, or you also generate impact with their Google reviews, with their payment processing, with appointment booking system, which again, it just, you know, shows them that, you know, they can manage their whole business with you, which is very beneficial. And all of that because go high level again, which is really cool. So that's something that you can do. Now, if you're on a call and let's say, you know, you are presenting a $1,000 setup, and you know, they want maybe something additional, you can always say, okay, we do have this package, which is $2,000 one-time fee, and then $297 a month, and it includes pretty much everything for your business. And then you can say we also have a $3,000 setup plan, which is an elite plan, and then that costs $697 a month. So you get 10-page websites, everything in growth, plus AI voice agent, AI chatbot, ongoing SEO management, and 5 website edits per month. So essentially, you can, you know, integrate this as well. So all of these are smart AI websites. So all of these plans can go, but the last plan is literally like, you know, AI smart website on steroids that pretty much helps them convert, you know, any customer into, or any viewer or anyone that clicks on their website into a customer, which at the end of the day, this is what you want. You want to basically go and you want to turn them into a customer, right? So, and I'm talking here about I'm talking here about the local business, right? Local business has a website. That website is great. In this case, is the last elite plan, and it's generating them money. So they will pay you $697 per month. Again, as I said, you can adjust these pricings however you want and however you feel that would be better for you. Like the first starter plan can be $500 one time. The second can be $1.5K or $1,000, and the last one can be $1.5K to $2,000. So it doesn't have to be the same. However, this is a rough estimate and rough price range that I would follow, because it certainly is a pricing that works. Also, you know, with other Go High Level affiliates out there, not just me. So again, this is something that is tested and something that works. So again, you can kind of package as well some other things in here, but this is kind of like a rough thing to follow. So definitely follow something like this because it's recommended. And again, it's, you know, from the experience, you know, of selling these AI smart websites. Okay. So here's pricing psychology, right? This is how you frame your price. So obviously, you know, you always present, you can always go and present the elite plan first. It makes the growth plan feel like bargain, because everything they're getting is pretty much a no-brainer. Plus, elite plan is going to be like your main plan that you're going to be selling, okay? So anchoring the single most powerful pricing tactic is pretty much that. So you lead with $3,000, not with $1,000, and then they exactly see the value they're getting for that $3,000. Also, make middle plan the hero. So the growth plan at $2,000 setup plus $297 a month is your target. So usually when we talked with people, you know, on the calls and stuff like that, the target is usually the middle one. So usually most people go for the middle one because of that pricing psychology, okay? Because you put that $3,000 as the most expensive one and most valuable one, but then some people go with the middle one and some people go with the highest one, right? Less people go with the first one. If you done the call correctly, if you establish trust, so that's what it is. So position the middle as the hero and position it as the 80% of business, as something that 80% of businesses choose, okay? So people usually default to the recommended middle option because it's recommended, right? It's like a psychology, a human psychology. At the end of the day, they feel safer with this option because like elite plan is great. Elite plan is always going to be chosen, but most of the time, people will choose the middle plan. Also, per day reframe, this is something you can do. So $297 a month might seem a lot to some people. So what you can say, this is less than $10 per day. I'm sure you're spending more than that on your business right now. So as you can see, you spend more on coffee a day than this system costs. That shrinks the number psychologically and bypasses the pricing resistance, which just makes this offer even more appealing, okay? And again, the middle plan is something that, most people will go for, and 297 is not really, that big of a deal, because if you see here 697, that's quite a lot for most businesses. And they still want to get the most juice out of it, so they will go for the middle plan. And then always focus on return on investment or ROI, not the cost itself. So everything when you're talking with business owners should be in numbers, breaking down numbers, simple math, right? So never say it costs 297. Say if this captures 2 extra jobs a month at 500 each, you are 700 plus in profit or in revenue every single month. So reframe as an investment, not as an expense, because currently they might have a website that just doesn't work, okay? So that's something that you should be reframing at. So this is a really cool way to mitigate any objection out there. Again, you will get objections on the calls, but this is just a very simple way and very logical way how business owners think, okay? So here's the recurring revenue model and how profit scales. So first of all, let me kind of give you an example. So you are paying, or you will be paying, $297 a month flat for Go High Level Unlimited plan. And that plan will give you unlimited sub accounts, which means you can host unlimited clients on those accounts. So your platform cost never increases no matter how many clients you add, okay? So if you go with a middle plan, Go High Level has 3 plans, 97, 297, and 497. So 297 plan is what you want to go for. If you want to really scale this up, you can start with $97 plan, and then you will have 3 different sub accounts that you can add. But then if you want to scale, go to $297 a month plan, and you pay once $297 per month and you host unlimited clients. What does that mean? That means that first client will cover your Go High Level cost. Second client will be 100% pure profit. Client 5, again, 100% pure profit. Client 10, 100% pure profit. So you will basically have pure profit on this particular business. So again, client 1 will cover the Go High Level second plan, which is 297 plan, and then client 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, these will be pure profit, which is what we want. This is why Go High Level is such an incredible opportunity, and is such an incredible way to set this up for you. So what your monthly retainer covers, right? Obviously Go High Level sub account, which is a flat fee. You pay 297 total for Go High Level. It covers all clients, 0 extra cost per client. As I mentioned, ongoing training, updates, and monitoring of their chatbot. If their chatbot messes up or something, you always go and you fix it. So it's kind of like a maintenance thing. Missed call, text back, booking flows, reviewing sequences. They don't know anything about that, so you will always be here to support them. Responding to Google or Facebook reviews on their behalf. Again, that's something you're doing as well. Simple snapshot. So this is like a monthly reporting. So this is really good to have, because local businesses usually will cancel if they don't see any improvement. So the improvement can be displayed through a simple snapshot, like simple like dashboard snapshot, because on Go High Level you have a dashboard and they can clearly see how many opt-ins they have, how many clients they have, how many customers they have, and then or how many reviews they need to respond to, and then based on that they will know if your service is valuable. So if they can clearly see, and by the way, only if they can see a dashboard with leads, they will be convinced that this is a good service and they will continue paying, okay? So, and again, you can always talk with them how to improve this, communicate with them, have a WhatsApp group or something where you're managing them. We'll kind of show you that as well later on, how you can manage clients. But yeah, make sure to have like a WhatsApp group where you are managing them, you're kind of, helping them and stuff like that, communicating with them. And then obviously website edits, this is per plan, as we mentioned, 1 to 5 content or design changes per month as per their tier. Maybe, you're working with local business that wants to add something to their website because they have a new service, they have, maybe a new image that they, a new image of like a service or like an example or testimonial. You can add that to the website, okay? So this pretty much kind of is the model we're following, and usually it's best to go to that $297 a month plan. But again, if you sign up with our 30-day free trial, later you can upgrade to any plan you want, but you have 30 days to sign pretty much how many clients you want, right? But again, the goal is one client, only one client, and you're ready to go. I mean, you can pretty much go and pay for the 297 plan after you have 1 or 2 clients, okay? So it's really logical model, and honestly, I never seen any model on the internet being as logical as this one. So yeah, so here are some add-ons and upsells which will increase your MRR. Obviously, once a client is live, these add-ons are easy sells. These are the add-ons that you can upsell to them, or also known as upsells. So when they already trust you, when you're making money for them, they will pay you for other services, which is really cool, because you're establishing trust, and then they will pay you for other services. So some of these services can be AI voice agent. If they don't already have an AI voice agent, this AI voice agent can answer inbound calls 24/7, qualify leads, and routes or takes messages. So huge for plumbers and HVAC, for example, any business that is very busy. This is really great. Second, Facebook and Google Ads management. Again, you can charge this $497 a month. You can run local ads for clients on top of their smart website. This is massive upsell, and most businesses will charge $500 to $1.5K a month. Now, one thing to mention, Google ads are much better here than Facebook ads for local businesses because they are more profitable, and usually, it's really good for SEO as well. So this is something that most people will not say, but definitely Google ads are much better for most local businesses. Again, for realtors, it might be different. Like, it might be that, Facebook ads are better. But again, that's something you can kind of, test yourself as well. And you can consult with some other people in our community. So if you go to our community, you would be able to do that. So second is an SEO monthly package. So obviously you can also charge this $297 a month. You cannot see it from my camera, but it's $297 a month. You get monthly, so they get monthly blog posts, Google business updates, and local citation building. So recurring and automated to become basically to master SEO within their industry and become the top business within their industry. Okay. Then obviously you have social media management, which again, this is kind of like on a low tier, but $397 a month. You can go away with it. This is AI assisted posting schedule across Instagram, Facebook, and Google. And the best part is you can use Go High Level for this because Go High Level has a social planner as well. So again, you can see how Go High Level helps us with this. And then we have payment processing setup, 200 once. And then you set up Go High Level payment form so clients can take deposits and full payments online, one-off fee, because most clients, they're usually handling cash. They don't have an online like payment processing setup, so you can help them with that as well. Then you can also have a white label mobile app, which is $97 a month, where they have like a branded mobile app, which is kind of like a just Go High Level. It's strong retention tool, and clients rarely churn once live. And one thing I have to mention is, can you see how most of these are dependent on Go High Level? This is actually the coolest part. It's not a downside, because once the client gets the hang of it, once the client learns how to use this, Go High Level becomes sticky. They will keep using it and they won't be able to cancel it, because they will think, why should I cancel this? I have to then go and relearn everything myself, So that's something you should have a mindset of when you're selling this, okay? So Okay, we kind of covered the pricing, the structure, what you can upsell. Now let's go pitching local businesses. So obviously sales calls, email follow-ups, in-person meetings, simplified. This is just simplified because we already covered this in the previous module. But yeah, we're going to go and cover this. So obviously this is a perfect discovery call. Usually how you're going to go about it is going to be very short call most of the time, like 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. It's usually the best for local businesses. So you go, thanks for jumping on. I'll keep this to 20 minutes. Tell me how you're currently getting most of your new customers. You kind of let them talk, take notes. You show genuine interest in their business. Then you say, got it. And what happens when someone calls after hours or on a weekend? So you're pretty much preparing for them to say, nothing happens because, they don't have any way of getting or generating leads over the weekend because they're, on themselves. They need to do that, and they're on the weekend enjoying with family on whatever they're doing. So you can also frame it in this way, like while you're enjoying with your family, the AI will do its own thing, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, do you have any way of capturing those leads? They say no, and then it's your angle, which let me show you what I've set up for you, right? Or for your niche, for dentists, or for dentist business just like yours in Los Angeles area. And then you try asking the question, like the AI Smart website. You share the screen, you run the demo, and let the AI close itself. And then you basically go, based on what you told me, the growth plan fits perfectly. $2,000 to build and $297 per month. That's everything you saw in the demo live on your site. And then you can say something for scarcity. I do have a couple more spots. You don't say like one spot. You can say that, but to look more like convincing and sound more convincing, I do have a couple of spots available this week. If this looks like a fit, I can take 50% deposit today and be live in 5 business days. Want to go ahead? And then you pretty much close the deal. Usually these type of deals are very closable because, it's selling itself. It's pretty much selling itself, which is, very cool and really beginner friendly. So if you've never done sales, don't worry. It's just like talking to, people, normal people like, you and me. So yeah, obviously, you can do follow-ups and in-person meetings as well. I will just cover this briefly. After the call, if they are not closing, you can say something like, hey, John, great speaking with you. As promised, here's the demo link. The growth plan, it does start at $2,000 one-time fee plus $297 a month. Gives you everything we walked through. Deposit secures your spot this week. Are you ready to go ahead? This is if you haven't closed on the spot. Again, it will be harder to close them if you leave them hanging and, if they don't close on the spot. However, if they have really objections that are really important, like for example, I have to ask my business partner, then reschedule the call with a business partner, okay? And also send them the demo link. Also for in-person meetings, it's these are just some quick tips. I probably done like one in-person meeting in my life. Most of the meetings are online, but you can bring a tablet or a laptop. You show them live demo on their website. You start with their Google Maps listing on the screen. Demo the missed call text back by calling their number, and then leave a one-page summary sheet with pricing. Just become prepared or come prepared. And with in-person meetings, it's usually you usually close people because once you show them your professionalism, they will act on it and they will trust you, okay? So you can also automate follow-ups in Go High Level, like you can have email with demo link plus pricing summary, SMS, did you get a chance to check the demo, case study, stuff like that. Again, I like to keep this in outreach messages, which it's pre-built in your free Go High Level snapshot. And again, we will post more snapshots and we will give you more value in our community. So once you join our 30-day free trial link, you will get that with our 30-day free trial link, okay? Now, obviously, we covered that. Now let's go to closing the deal and contracts. Now, contracts are important. Don't be scared of them. It's just here to kind of pre-frame everything and prepare the, everything for, the business. So in this case, I'll just go through legal basics, agreements, payment terms, and protecting yourself and your clients, because again, sometimes you will work with pain in the ass clients. just make sure that you have contract in place. This is just for your safety and for your client safety, and just it makes everything look more professional. So closing the deal, here are 3 moments. So best option is to close on a call. As I said earlier, the best time to close is immediately after the demo, while excitement is the highest. Why the dopamine is the highest? Because that is when they're excited, that is when they can envision and they start envisioning in their head how this will help their business, okay? So in this case, you just wanna ask directly, wanna go ahead, and I'll send you the invoice now, and then silence is fine, let them answer, and then have your payment link ready before every call. Again, payment links can be added within Go HighLevel. They can be added as well in on Stripe. I usually use either Stripe, PayPal, or Go HighLevel that is integrated with Stripe, okay? I can show you this briefly after this presentation, how you can set this up, but that's the first best option. The second most common is close via follow-up. Again, this will happen some of the times, but I recommend closing on a call. So you can send the follow-up email within 30 minutes, include the demo link, pricing, and direct pay deposit link. Again, most closes happen within 24 to 72 hours of the demo. But if they're ready on the call, immediately go and close them on a call. So use urgency here. I have 1 build slot this week. I'm actually talking with someone this week. I'm already talking with this person, that person. You can leverage the urgency in your way, okay? So from there, again, high conversion is an in-person close, obviously. So if you're in US, if you want to target US customers, you can start with your own town. So for larger local businesses like law firms, dental practices, in-person visits with an imprinted 1-page proposal and demo running live on their site dramatically increases close rates, okay? So you can bring a contract ready to sign on the spot, and you will pretty much sign. Now, both of these, like all of these ways to close the deal are good, right? So don't beat yourself up if you cannot close on a call. You will close via follow-up. If you cannot close either way, then it is what it is, right? You can kind of add them to a long-term nurture. So if you talk with someone, if they're not ready maybe at this moment, which, I don't know why they wouldn't be ready, but if you've done the call right, but if they're still not ready, then make sure to move them to long-term nurture. You can set up long-term nurture in Go HighLevel, and you can nurture them for like 1 year, okay? And in 1 year, you can follow up with them, which is really cool. So that's something you can do. Now, obviously, for your contract, there are 7 essential clauses here. So for the contract, if you're creating contract, obviously, I'm not here legal advisor. You can create a contract with ChatGPT or go with a lawyer if you're really confident, which will set up your contract once and that's it. You also do have softwares that are creating contracts for you, like AI contract or AI lawyer and stuff like that. But again, do that on your own end and see what's best for you. So obviously here is in your contract, you need to have scope of work, payment terms, cancellation policy, ownership of assets, which is really important, AI disclaimer, data privacy, and limitation of liability. So let's kind of go through these really quick. So scope of work, just, what you're going to do, the setup fee, and what's included in the monthly retainer. So you just define number of pages, features, and edit allowance based on your package that you're selling. Second, payment terms. So usually 50% deposit required before work begins, remaining 50% due on go live day. Monthly MRR charge on the first of each month via card on file, which you can set up via Stripe in Go HighLevel, which I'm about to show you. Then you have cancellation policy, so 30-day written notice required to cancel, no refunds or setup fees. If client cancels mid-month, full month is charged, and then sub-account is suspended on cancellation date, okay? Also, you have ownership of assets. This is huge because Go HighLevel acts as your own ownership, so obviously, client owns their business data and content, but you retain ownership of custom-built templates and workflows because website and everything is hosted on Go HighLevel. Client can migrate for a fee if they leave, okay? So they cannot, if they leave, and if they don't want to migrate, then you're taking your entire Go HighLevel system and that's it, okay? Make sure to transparently say that to them. You don't have to say that on a call, the first call. you can say that later on once you close them, because then it's a lower chance they will cancel first month, right? Also, AI disclaimer. So clearly state that the AI chatbot is an automated tool and may occasionally produce incorrect responses. Again, you just put that in a contract just for your own sake. Don't tell them straight up this, because then it will sound like you're not confident in your service. So client approves training data. You're not liable for AI errors that cause business loss, okay? Also, data and privacy. You're agreed to handle all client business data in accordance with GDPR and CCPA or local regulations. You will not share or sell client data to third parties. Data is stored securely via Go HighLevel infrastructure. Now, make sure that you know the law in the country or in the state that you're operating in. It's very important that you know the law and then act upon that law, okay? Limitation of liability. So your maximum liability is capped at the fees paid in the previous 3 months. You're not liable for lost revenue, missed calls, not captured or third-party service outages like SMS, email, Go HighLevel downtime. Again, this will happen sometime. Like, it never happened to me. Probably happened one time, but it was like not Go HighLevel's fault. It was an API fault, which, you know, Go HighLevel usually depends on other APIs, but usually 99.9% of time it works, okay? So just know this and know where you're getting into. This is very important that you kind of know. You can build your contract around these things. You can show this to your lawyer or whoever is going to create your contract. And again, you create contract once and that's it. You're pretty much secured all the way. So here are payment terms and structures. So obviously, you know, you can go and charge standard 50-50. So 50% deposit on contract and 50 on a go live day. This is most common and it protects both parties and it doesn't look like, you know, it doesn't look like suspicious, okay? Because usually when you're first working with a client, and if you're all the time just saying, you know, I want an upfront, I want an upfront, I want an upfront, they will be like, you know, why does this guy force an upfront, right? So always have options. Obviously, I personally would go with upfront fee because we have to cover the cost upfront. But if they don't want to do it, 50-50 is fine. 50-50 is honestly what I would go with either way after the upfront. Obviously, the second is upfront, so full setup fee paid before work starts. Offer 5 to 10% discount as incentive. This is best for cash flow. Again, if you're running a business, this is definitely the best one for cash flow. If you can do this in a really good way and pitch this in a really good way, then this is definitely it, okay? Monthly installments, you can split setup over 3 months alongside MRR. This is lower barrier to entry, good for hesitant clients, good for beginner clients if you don't have yet testimonials. However, I would not recommend this long term. No setup or higher MRR, so you can waive the setup fee but then charge $497 to $697 a month instead. This is easier close, slower ROI, but still pretty good, honestly, because you will earn more, but then the churn might be higher. So later on, you can probably like lower that to, you know, whatever is going to be. Like for the first 3 months, you will charge $497 to $697, and then after that, you're going to charge $297 again, long term. So use Stripe plus Go HighLevel to auto charge MRR on the first of each month. This is really important. So this is something you can do. And then protecting your MRR, have a card on file from day one. What does this mean? This means that the card will be saved in your Go HighLevel system and it will charge them automatically. This makes MRR automatic and removes the awkward chase payment situation, because again, we don't want to chase clients. We want them or their card to get charged, and that's it, okay? And one important thing, the client will always, when they see the statement that, you know, they paid for your service, they will always think whether or not this service is valuable to them. So what you want to do before the payment date, you want to send them a snapshot or dashboard of the results you did, and that will be like in their head, or at the day of the payment, you will send them that, and they will be like, okay, you know, they're making money, so it's not a big deal, you know. So that's a good trick to have in your sleeve. So again, you have 30-day cancellation clause. This requires 30-day written notice, and this guarantees a 1 extra MRR payment even if they want out immediately, which is really great. And then 6-month minimum term for growth and elite clients include a 6-month minimum. This is good. You can include 3, 6, whatever month minimum, and that reduces churn and justifies your build investment, okay? And then you have failed payment protocol. So Go High Level auto retries failed payments. So add a clause after 3 failed charges, service suspension until balance clear. This is kind of strict, but it's something that works. So always get the contract signed before sending your invoice, and that will pretty much secure your spot, okay? So again, you're a business owner. You need to be a little bit on the secure side. You need to be, securing yourself as well on your side. So yeah. So let's go to the lesson number 4. This is AI compliance and legal obligations. This is what every agency owner must know before deploying AI for clients. So it's really important that you have this in place. Again, this is not to scare you. It's just to know what you're dealing with, okay? So usually, data privacy, GDPR, CCPA, and local regulations. I know this is boring for most businesses, but this is something that you kind of need to know. So GDPR, obviously this is for EU, applies to EU and any business with EU-based customers or website visitors. So you must have a cookie consent banner on the website. Privacy policy must list what data is collected and why, and users have the right to request data deletion, okay? Also, AI chatbot interactions count as data processing, so must be disclosed. So again, add a GDPR cookie consent widget in Go High Level, which you can add. You can add also or update clients' privacy policy to mention AI chatbot data handling. So always have a privacy policy in place. Second, in California and USA, this applies to businesses serving California residents with under 25 million revenue or 50K plus records, or over 25 million of revenue. Users can opt out of data sale or sharing and must disclose what personal data the AI collects and provide a do not sell my info link. So in this case, AI collected leads must not be sold to third parties. Again, you will not do that anyway, so include opt-out language in forms. Ensure Go High Level data handling settings are configured correctly per client. Also, for Canada and USA email, this applies. This is called CASL or CAN spam. So this is any automated email sequence sent to prospect or leads. So consent is required before sending marketing emails, and every email must have an unsubscribe option. And then identify your agency name and address in emails, and cannot use misleading subject lines in Go High Level sequences. So again, all Go High Level email sequences must include unsubscribe footer and use double opt-in for lead capture forms. This is for a local business on the website. We're talking about that, okay? So again, just some things you should know about before kind of going into that. Also, AI-specific compliance. So what agencies must know is, you have AI chatbot disclosure. So you must disclose when a user is speaking to an AI, not a human. Many jurisdictions legally require this. So again, you can add something like, hi, I'm Tin's business AI assistant. I can answer any questions and book appointments. A team member can also help if you prefer. Something like that. TCPA or SMS and auto dialing. So sending automated SMS to US numbers requires prior written consent. Again, this is $500 to $1.5K dollar fine per message. So even if you're auto dialing with your AI voice agent, this is not legal, okay? It's illegal. So ensure every Go High Level lead capture form has an SMS consent checkbox. Never send automated text to numbers that haven't opted in. Obviously, A2P or 10 DLC registration. When you're registering a phone number in Go High Level, which we covered earlier, all business SMS in the USA must be sent via A2P registered numbers, which Go High Level has this integrated. So when you register your number, when you purchase your number, you will need to go through that A2P verification. If you have any problems with A2P verification, contact me. Or what you can also do is you can pretty much go and register, contact Go High Level support. They're pretty fast with it. So you register your client's brand and campaign in Go High Level's LC phone settings. It takes 1 to 3 days required for any US SMS automation. Then obviously you have AI collected data usage. So data collected by AI chatbots in personal data under the GDPR or CCPA. So you cannot use it for any purpose not disclosed at collection. So in the privacy policy, just list name, email, phone, and conversation transcripts collected by the AI tool. Again, state data is used only to respond to inquiries. So you also have HIPAA. So HIPAA, if your client is in medical practice, mental health provider, or dentist, this is really good. You can enable HIPAA compliance, which is a $297 a month add-on on top of what you're paying with Go HighLevel. And you can just charge client for that accordingly, because if they don't have it, you will need to have that installed. And then age and vulnerable users. So AI chatbot must not collect data from users under 13 or 16. You can add age verification for relevant niches, and that will pretty much suffice your kind of compliances. Okay, so yeah, here's what you learned. We still have more to go, so I will show you an ebook for compliances that we have. So if you sign up with our 30-day free trial, you also get an ebook for compliances, which just makes this much easier. I will also show you how to integrate your Stripe inside Go HighLevel right now. But this is what you kind of learned. We learned packages and pricing. So we learned the starter or top three-tier model, the starter, the grow, the elite, fixed packages that beat hourly, predicted MRR, clear scope, add-ons that you can sell. We also learned how to pitch clients, the discovery call and stuff like that. Close on the call while excitement is the highest. Remember that. Also, Go HighLevel automates all follow-ups, so 5-step sequence pre-built in Snapshot. Also, closing in contracts, we went over the legal things, and then we went over AI compliance. Now I will actually show you an ebook that we have, just like go and skim through it. This is what we get inside, or what you get inside of our Snapshot when you sign up with our 30-day free trial. And it's actually something that is very beneficial for business owners, just so you know other compliances as well. So as you can see, if you go to Go HighLevel and if you go to our to your sub account where you imported our snapshot number 2, you will be able to go to media storage, and here you have 3 different ebooks. One of them is AI compliance guide, and this is how it looks like. So this is what every AI marketing agency needs to know before working with local businesses. And again, you can kind of go through this, and as you can see, you have AI texting, SMS marketing rules, FTC rules, Europe and GDPR. Based on where you're at, you should go and you should kind of go through this and skim read it, at least, go through these and see what what this entails. Okay, now in order to set up a payment plans and recurring payment plans, Go HighLevel is really great for that. So go to your sub account, which in this case we have our sub account right here, and we want to go to payments. And as you can see here, we have documents and contracts. You can also create contracts inside Go HighLevel, which is really cool. And you can like get those contracts signed, which is really cool. So let me kind of show you this. You have here a Go HighLevel contracts. And then when that loads up, you will have it right here. You go to new, and you can upload existing PDFs. So for example, you can create a contract with existing or export it as in a PDF, and then do that. You can import from template library. You have contracts right here, for hair salons, for consulting, stuff like that. But again, as I said, consult with your lawyer or whoever is doing your contracts, and then import them right here. Invoices and estimates is where you can build or where you can create invoices. So you can create a new recurring invoice here. You can send recurring invoice to a customer at scheduled intervals. So you can click new. And as you can see, this is where you would be able to go and add business information. So in this case, you want to add your, obviously phone number, everything, your website, invoice settings, and you can select a customer. If you added a customer as a contact in Go HighLevel, you can add it right here. Okay, so in this case, I can just add it. And then I can also add a product. So adding a product, you can create a product here. And as you can see, the product name can be, for example, whatever the plan is, starter. It's going to be digital or service. Price name is going to be, let's say, $1,000. And then amount is going to be, let's say, price name is going to be actually starter, not $1,000. Okay. And then you add that USD and you can save. So obviously this is a recurring invoice, right? So in this case, it's going to be probably like 297. You hit save. And then you have that right in here. How often? Every month. You can select first of every, or you can select like date, first Monday of every month, right? And then you can add start date and end date, which we don't have. you can, you know, schedule this if you want, and you can then send this to your customer. So that's how you can do it one way. Second way you can do it is you can create a new invoice, which is going to be one invoice for one-time fee, and then another invoice, which is going to be a recurring invoice for a monthly fee. Okay, so you have one invoice, which is basic invoice for one-time fee, and then you have a recurring invoice for recurring. Okay, so that's what you can do. You can also import services using CSV. You can go to products, and you can also go and create products. Like, as you can see, we've created here a bunch of products, and you can create a product first. So you enter the title, the description, you know, include tax and prices, yes or no. You know, the prices here, the amount, you compare at the price right here. And once you create a product, you can add those products into the invoices. Okay, so in this case, let's say we go create a product, we add a pricing. Okay, you know, we have additional options right here, whether that's a membership offer, right, or whatever. Additional options, you can add another price, add a variant, search engine listing and stuff like that. And then you basically go and you go to your, you also have subscriptions, by the way, so you can add a subscription as well here, as you can see. So in this case, you can add a subscription. You can you know, add your client's card to this. As you can see, you have additional options, which is test or live. This is test, this is live, and then that's pretty much it, right? You can schedule this, and then you can add a customer, and obviously the customer you know, will need to pay this. But if they pay it once, right, on the invoice, recurring invoice, they will be charged monthly, which is something you want to do. If they don't want to give you the number, that's what you can do. Now, integrations here, I use Stripe, but you can use PayPal, Authorize, and NMI. You can use pretty much any like method you want here. Again, this is going to be up to you. You also have manual payment methods, which is like offline or custom options like cash on delivery. But as you can see, you have a lot of different like payment providers here. So the best one for me is Stripe. Second best one is PayPal. But again, you know, if you're in the UK, for example, NMI is quite good, or authorize.net is quite good. But again, you can manage everything through here, okay? And by the way, this is being managed on your sub account. This is being managed on your sub account, not on your client sub account, because you are creating invoices and everything like that within your own sub account, okay? Now, if you have any questions around this, or you know, anything, you can comment below or join our community, and we'll be able to answer pretty much everything. Again, you can join our community with our 30-day free trial below, and you will pretty much get everything set up correctly. So this is essentially it for this module. Obviously, the second module right here is going to be Go High Level Setup and Automation Mastery. So we're going to go finally through the technicalities of Go High Level, sub-account setup from scratch for a real client, building and deploying a smart website using niche web templates, configuring every automation, chatbot, SMS, booking, and reviews, and then going live with the checklist, client handover, and first month support. So this is what we're going to go through. It's going to be quite a long, that one is going to be quite a long module, but yeah. So yeah, we'll see you in the next module.